Welcome to the Imperial Grandstand. I'm Alan Imperio.
I'm Carlos Del Rosario.
And on today's episode, we're going to be having some mischief at the festival.
Oh, that's right. In this episode of Confessions of a Novice D&D Player, we talk about probably one of my favorite modules I've got to play.
Yeah, so as a group, I think we knew that we didn't have enough time to go through the campaign, because some of those campaigns could get you to level 20.
Yeah, I would love to play something like Curse of Strahd the Dragon Heist, the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. That sounds really cool, but that's a lot of commitment, and
in this day and age, bite-sized chunks. So thankfully, Carlos, our DM, found this module by Mr. Zhang.
Yeah, let's bring it up here.
So, as a group, we were just looking for really level-appropriate stuff for our band of mischief.
And my go-to for modules is the DM's Guild. They have some amazing writers here, and I was just looking through some, and my group, they're all level 1s, all relatively new, and we did the Delian Tomb last time. Check out the last episode if you haven't seen it, and it was just it feels like Dungeons and Dragons, the apotheosis of a Dungeons and Dragons, adventure. And there's a dungeon, there are goblins, and you slay the goblins, sure, but we're looking for something different. And I asked the group what they wanted,
and I just wanted to roleplay a lot as my bard, and somebody wanted to have a good time at like a convention, because in the real world,
yes,
we go to conventions.
Yeah, just to give you some context, this is the time of the COVID. It's 2020. So it's like we miss conventions. We miss the smell and the free hugs.
I miss the Deadpools just acting a fool.
Yes. But I found this magnificent module called Mischief at the Festival on the DM's Guild. If you type this in, Mischief, you get a whole bunch of things, and it was right up our alley.
It's 5-star.
5 stars, and it's 4 adventures in one. So there are 4 separate adventures, and each adventure they say is an hour, but the way we play, it's 2 hours.
we really get lost in the festival itself.
Yeah, and it's a little different from what they were expecting, because what I wanted was something a little more city-based, and that's not railroad. They basically choose your own adventure. So
when our adventure started, as a group, we saw this big-ass map, and it's like, whoa! And there's a lot of options. The biggest star is number 3. It's the vendor and gaming fair, and we didn't go there first.
Yeah.
I forgot how we chose.
Yeah. So the background is that there's a Magic and Gold festival. Oh, by the way,
excuse me.
Let's let me bring this up, and let's shrink ourselves. Yeah. There we go.
So
that might help you.
Over here, number 3 is the biggest one, and that's like what I would think is like a real convention, and I wanted to save that. So all I knew was I didn't want to go there first.
Yeah. I generally like to print up the adventures just so that I can, write up notes on the side, because there is a lot of information, and it's just one of those things where it helps me. It's every time you DM, it's like studying for a test, and yeah, it really is, because there's just a lot to remember, and you got to write down your notes and say, all right, this is what I'm going to say. So this is my run through of what I would do as the owner of the Mage Pit.
Right, because we eventually go there to eat.
Yes.
Right, we were hungry.
Yeah. So
we were literally hungry as a group.
Yeah.
And we wanted to eat, and I think that's how we chose going to the Mage Pit.
So let me read it out here, actually. Ventia is a city on the Moonsea dominated by the power of independent mages and merchants. The annual Magic and Gold Festival is a citywide celebration in the mutual cooperation between the two groups and the prosperity they have brought to Thentia. Yeah, and it's like I'm reading this, and I was like, oh, this is a Comic Con. This is such a Comic Con because as you've seen before, there's a vendor area, there's a panel, there's
A concert?
a concert, there's a food court. I'm like, this is totally, in my eyes, a convention. Maybe not a comic book convention, but it's definitely a pop culture convention of some type. So it's like, all right, that's what I'll sprinkle.
And you have all these little places to walk through. Uh, Something that caught my eye that's gonna be a callback that just I kind of fell in love with is the dock.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And I let my adventurers choose which adventure they want to do first. They don't necessarily have to go to the first one. They could
Which
go to
is
anyone
number
they.
one, and I'm just gonna point it out here. It's the concert.
Yes, the celebrity bardic troupe Rage Against the Modrons will be performing a lively concert at the Beacon Inn.
Yeah.
And
And we could have went in order of numbers, but
yeah,
we followed our stomach.
so I followed the stomach. And I think we were having ramen at the time, so it's like, all right, food court. We're going to the food court. And I'm like,
Yep.
reality.
We were eating, so our
Yes.
characters wanted to eat, and it's a massive food court set
Yes.
up around the Mage Pit Inn.
Yes.
Offers a wide variety of delicious cuisine from all around the Moonsea.
Yeah, a little before that, I did add a point of my own. I added a blacksmith, smithy.
Yes.
And they say don't start an adventure with the blacksmith, and I totally understand why. Because it's like I'm watching you guys. This is taking way longer but at the same time, it's like I know your weapons. It's like you don't have great weapons, and you need refills on crossbows and stuff. So having a blacksmith there, one, it's what a town like this would have. But yeah, you do need to get better armor and better swords and stuff. So I don't.
Because we're coming off of the Delian tomb, we had some coin. So it was just burning in
Yeah.
our tank's pocket.
Yeah, and they picked up some chainmail and stuff, and it's like that's heavy. You want to sell it to someone, so yeah. But yeah, I totally understand why they say don't start off with a blacksmith, but I saw it as a necessity.
And the beautiful thing was, I was taught in the real life, because my parents know to stretch a dollar, always haggle.
Yes.
So
Well,
we're there, we're shopping.
how this bard haggled with the proprietor of Smithy himself. Yes, he
The
was the
owner.
blacksmith. He had the workshop. We're not going to talk about that on the channel because it's
a
for
kid
adult
show.
ears. It's for adult ears.
This
But,
has to be kid friendly. But
it's-
let's just say
it was salacious. Let's
there's no shame in my game, because we got 25% discounts on everything we purchased
Yes.
for the weekend. So totally worth it.
And,
Because some of the stuff we bought was over 100 gold.
yes. Smithy was very pleased. I can't speak for Frederick, but
In the
Frederick
Hey,
is your character, by the
yes.
way. Yes.
Any encounter you get to walk away from without contracting anything is a good encounter.
Very good. So we
So we've I think people got javelins, armor, and I needed bolts.
yeah, some basic stuff. Nothing too large. And by the way, we've mentioned the name before, but thank you very much. Why Michael Zhang,
Yeah.
who designed this module. I've read other things by him, and I've read other modules, and sometimes they're just too confusing. Or like, I don't think my group would like this. He writes in a way where I'm like, oh, I know for a fact my group is gonna like this. This is amazing work.
Yeah, so we refill. I'm feeling good about it myself because I got a successful roll, and off we go to the inn to eat.
Yeah. So going back to it, yes, you get to choose different things: the concert, the food fight, uh, the
Fair and free.
yeah, that's the vendor hall and the panel. And this is a map. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead because they didn't choose the number one adventure. They chose
Episode 2.
two. Yes, episode two, the food fight. And uh, I started off. I just read this part, and they end up at a food court that is by the Mage Pit Inn, and the food has come alive and is attacking people.
Now, we weren't ready to fight as PCs because we're eating very good ramen. I'm having fried chicken. I remember it vividly,
Yes.
and and then we're just here. Roll for initiative. Wait, what? And unfortunately, I get the highest roll. Now it's not unfortunately that. Oh yeah, like I'm on the board. Maybe I'll cast
Yeah,
minor illusion.
let me open up. And by the way, this is a representation of the map in Roll20.
Yep.
It's not to scale because we're not really playing. I just made the tokens a little larger
Yeah. So
than
we,
what they're
so
used to, just so that you at home can see it. But here we go.
Yeah,
But
this was
this is
all-
you. This is you.
Yep. This was all printed out, and
Yeah.
we're playing on an actual table
Yes.
outside.
So we
No,
have
we're inside for this one.
So we have you, Frederick the Bard. We have Mia the Rogue, Rogion the Paladin, and Dez the Cleric. And we had a giant blue crab,
Yep.
a boar, and some pudding. Some pudding that was
Ugh.
wreaking havoc in the food court. Yes.
Now I don't know why, but I just decided to get up close and personal, or within range of them, and I have a crossbow.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I think it's the fried chicken.
that was a bad mistake because one, you're a bard.
I should be further back.
And secondly, you're a bard. So it's
Yeah.
like you don't have a lot of HP. You don't have the highest armor. I mean,
I don't know why I did that,
yeah.
but I think I casted insult.
Insult. Yeah, or maybe
Vicious mockery.
Vicious mockery. Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot how that landed. But this
Yeah.
was
If I just cast a vicious mockery from where I was and I didn't move up,
yeah, you don't need to actually as long as, they're in range, you're fine. I mean, you didn't have to actually be close to them. But but long story short, you got attacked by some pudding and you nearly it nearly
Died.
knocked you out, man.
with one hit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then the crab comes in and attacks you as well. It misses, and this boar here just
Is
But-
getting attacked
yeah.
by our rogue because she's hiding.
Yeah.
She's doing what she's supposed
yeah,
to.
she hides in the tree. And oh, by the way, this is the first time our mutual friend Priscilla is playing as the rogue, and I think
She knew what she was
she
doing.
knew what she was doing. Man, it's like
Yeah.
she played a lot of Skyrim. Was like, I want to kill things. I want to kill things in secret, and I want to be stealthy. I'm like, you're a rogue. You're absolutely a rogue. Just do rogue things.
Yeah.
And we need a rogue. So
And she just kept on hiding and sneak attacking.
yeah, she one-shotted the boar. Yeah,
That
and
was great.
and
And
that-
then thankfully, I think it was Dez
yeah.
who cast some awesome spell.
Oh yeah, I think something radiant blast or something with radiant damage. But yeah, this was gone. Our paladin, of course, comes in, tries to
save
take
the
out
day.
but we're all making fun of Frederick here because like seriously, a pudding? You almost get knocked out by totaled by a pudding?
Yeah. So what happened was, we're in this food court and all the food just comes alive. People were eating like bacon, and the pig came back. People were like eating crabs or crab cakes, and boom,
Yes.
and children were eating pudding.
Yeah. So, all right, a lively start, and I love that. It's just into the action.
Yeah.
You know, you had your RP with the blacksmith and stuff, and you have that, but
Yeah, the moment we're in range, it's like roll for initiative. Like, wait, we're still eating.
too bad. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So some investigation happened. What was causing it? There were spores. There were spores that were around that will be explained later.
And then we had to find out where the spores were coming from.
Yeah. The proprietor of the Mage Pit Inn, Golzira Tunnelly, he invites you into his establishment, offers you, free food and I think lodging.
Lodging if we needed it, but we couldn't take a long rest
Yes,
because we
and
still had to investigate the spores.
and he explains that his establishment, the Mage Pit Inn, was built on a pit that a wizard had, and that wizard left. So this pit is here, and it looks amazing. It has all his old experiments, and wizards come from far and wide to,
To look at it.
to look at it. There's a glass floor that, oh wow, look at that. But
We decide we have to go down there,
yeah, you got to go down there because that's where the problems are starting.
and right when we're going down, we think it's gonna be easy, and I've already healed once, because I have healing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So here we are. This is
and
the 4.
and while we're heading down,
Yeah,
we
there's
have to roll for your dexterity. Because there's a dex save.
yeah, there's they have to climb a rope down into the pit, and everyone but Frederick falls into the pit, and you get hurt again. And it's
Yeah.
like we're the entire group is making fun. You are not having a good day here.
I rolled a 3, and
It's
if
yeah,
I rolled, I think if I rolled like a 4 with my modifiers, I would have passed. So it's just like,
yeah, yeah. It was a strength check. I remember that, and it was really fun. So we
for everybody else.
for everyone else, I think it's fun. You might be thinking, oh wow, we're gonna have to fight some creatures
I'm
and stuff.
freaking out
because
I'm dying.
You're dying, and remember, he's level 1, so you have like 9 hit points.
Yeah, I just took like 3 damage. I took a third of my
I know,
my
like,
HP.
Level 1 is terrifying, I gotta say.
Ah.
But you're down here. There's a row of grapes here. There's this shining light in the center. There's an altar.
Yeah.
That has 2 bowls in it.
And for us, we got to print out this at the table.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, this area here that was blocked up with vines, and from here it's like, all right, the players, what do you do?
I just told my team I don't want to move. I'm afraid. So, this is where you have to like. This is where you could table talk, obviously, because
Yeah.
our DM just said play, and I'm just like, I'm hurt, guys, and I just said, you all could see in the dark. I'm just gonna sit tight, and hopefully nothing bad happens.
Yes.
And thankfully, 2 of our characters, our new rogue, and our cleric, have dark vision, just like me.
Yeah. So
they were. I guess it's lit, but I want them to see,
Yes.
and they check things out.
yeah, I explain what this looks like, and the altar is probably the most important part because the altar looks like it's a switch to a door that leads to this area. We don't know what's there yet, but you need to solve this puzzle of the altar. And at the altar there are 2 bowls. One bowl looks like there's some type of red blood-like liquid, and the other one looks like dried mushrooms.
Yep.
And it takes them a while to figure out, but you end up drinking like the red liquid. I'm like, why would you drink the what?
because I was in my mind I already took damage, right? So it's inefficient to get healed again by our cleric
Yeah.
if I just get healed for 3, right? So I just figured if I'm gonna die, I might as well take maximum damage now and get and get healed before the fight starts.
Yes.
So I rolled the dice, literally, and I'm like, let me drink this. And thankfully, I didn't have to roll a Constitution check. So lucked out.
Yep. And it turns out it was just grape juice. So that was good because there are grapes here. All right, maybe we put the grapes into the grape bowl.
Yep.
And there are mushrooms, dried mushrooms in the other bowl. And it's like, that's not the only part of the room. We have all these mushrooms here. This is where it gets interesting because our cleric and our rogue go down to investigate, and they see 3 types of mushrooms. And as a DM, I know there's only one mushroom that does not cause damage. And the other 3 you all have to investigate, but one pricks you, one, has deadly spores or something. And
I just kept my ass as far away as possible, and I let my friends take care of this, because I knew it was a trap.
yes. And this is just like a Indiana Jones thing. You have to choose, but choose wisely.
Yeah, and thankfully both Dez and Miowin just had really good rolls for their investigation.
Except the one time. And they managed to choose mushrooms that could harm you, but our cleric managed to do a dexterity save and was not hurt by the mushrooms.
Because they shot out spores.
Shot out spores, or maybe it was something thorny. I'm not going to look it up right now, but it was something bad that would cause damage.
Right.
All right, so we put the mushrooms here and there.
And we put the grapes back.
And then this door opens. They walk in, and they're confronted by a plant-like being called Cultivation. And this is, in any other game, this would be a boss fight.
Yeah. I did not want to fight him. I was afraid. It's like, holy crap, he's huge. He's the size of the room.
Yes, you have to, and it's like, all right, I don't. It's like, but the way I did it, I tried to be, very calm. Ah, yes, hello, guests. Would you like something to eat?
And we just ate, or we just tried to eat, and we politely declined because it's like, and I just start talking to Cultivation like he's a real person, even though it's our DM.
Yeah.
And I knew because he was a plant, he wouldn't like carnivores.
Yes. So the story was that Thagarian, the wizard who created this Mage Pit, he was a strict vegetarian and looked down upon anyone who liked meat. So that's why Cultivation, a creation of that wizard, attacked them. But that wizard had left. He has not been around for 100 years, and sad Cultivation, he's been left alone for the better part of a century.
And he's just chilling.
Just chilling.
And I kind of feel bad for him because it's like, oh, dude, really? You've just been here by yourself?
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to empathize because it's like we talked in depth about how much he didn't like carnivores or omnivores.
Yes.
It was unseemly. And I knew when the way he was talking, he just wanted a friend.
Yeah. And by being his friend, the power of friendship, that's how you succeed. So a few things that you can do to convince. Oh, by the way, Cultivation. He was in charge of the spores that created the animated food in the surface. So
Yep.
and
something we forgot to talk about
Yep.
is there's also caretakers.
Invisible caretakers, but they're just
They were just hanging out.
yeah,
But,
they're there. But yeah, this is I kind of love that this threw you guys for a loop, but you embraced it. It's not a combat thing, but some points that you have to negotiate are he wants people to eat the produce that Cultivation harvests from the gardens regularly
For free.
for
He
free.
didn't even want money, and it's
Yes.
just like I'm more than happy to give away your food. Sure.
It didn't want people to eat meat around the Mage Pit.
I told him I would send a message to the mayor, and and it became a splinter in my brain because I forgot to send the letter out to the mayor.
As a DM, I'm like, I don't have a mayor character, but sure.
Like it's not the mayor, it's like the town.
It's the watch lord, I think.
Yeah,
it's
the
called.
watch lord, and
Yeah.
so and in the next session, it's the first thing I take care of. So it's like I send a runner, it's fine, and it's like out of my hands.
Yeah.
And then he also wanted somebody to come down and just talk,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, dude, there's somebody upstairs who just
Yeah,
like,
Golzira Tunnelly, the proprietor of the Mage Pit Inn.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So we're just talking, and I got apparently 3 of the 4 triggers out, like out just checkbox without even trying, and it's just like it's everything that I wanted because it's like Mass Effect, but better.
Yeah.
It's so much better
Yeah, and I think this was a great
because
learning
I've been
opportunity.
screwing up the entire night.
In combat, in just checks, and then like here's your chance to shine because you have to negotiate with this, giant being.
Yeah,
And
Des, our cleric, was like, all right, Frederick, this is you," and he actually does. He throws Frederick into into the pit because if you look at the map, I'm right just outside of it.
yeah,
And he's like, "Get in here," and it's like,
get in
"All
here.
right."
All right, fine. I'm talking now.
So, so I'm like, okay, time to shine. And I was kind of afraid that I would actually have to roll dice and not just agree to his demands, which I think are totally reasonable.
Yes.
Oh,
And this is really interesting because like a lesser player would just be like, attack!
yeah. And our group, because we were all level 1, and I was kind of the anchor in battle, my team was like, we're not fighting. Alan's almost dead.
Yeah.
Frederick has, they were like, Frederick has 6 HP. And so they just, and yeah, so Des just threw me right in.
Now, Cultivation has 60 hit points.
What?
So the level 1s, that's really tough.
I
I could bring down the hit point level, but it's like, I don't think you stood a chance against Cultivation.
no.
Also, he would have a partner, like a Mushroom Gardener, that's around 22 hit points. So, yeah, but I
Would
like
it
this
die?
because it's a game about listening and negotiation, and that's something you can't just do in a video game. You have to, figure this out on your own, and I love that.
Yeah, and for me, I would not have negotiated for the team if like we didn't. Yeah, we thankfully our DM let us huddle up first and decide what we wanted, and and the vote was throw me into Cultivation, which turned out beautifully because it did. But it's just I love how we had this plan, and it all came together because I didn't want to do anything inside of this room, and that was the whole. All right, you're gonna do all the talking now.
Yeah, and
Which was great because I didn't mess it up.
yeah. Did you totally expect a fight?
I thought we were gonna die. You said he was the size of the room.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when things are the size of the room, it's usually like 40 plus HP, and it's like I was right. uh, so I didn't think I could talk my way out of it. I literally wanted to talk my way out of it. Ooh. Excuse me. Yeah, I didn't. I wanted to talk my way out of it because I thought we wouldn't have survived a fight. So I like how both the writer and us both didn't want to fight. It's like,
Yeah, I've learned, especially with this module, Mischief at the Festival, that yeah, it's not too heavy in the combat, which I respect. I mean, if
what do
if
you
you were if
not
you
too
were
heavy? We almost died. Oh, I almost died.
yeah, you almost died, but like most of the times, fights in this module only lasted 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's yeah, it's not a dungeon crawl. It's none of those things. But uh, my group were adults, and they wanted to. I feel you guys want to role play more than you want to do combat. Combat is just
it's ancillary to the story.
yeah,
It's like, f- for us, it's really about uh, either surviving combat, where it's like, oh, don't get hit, don't get hit. It's not about killing, and
yeah,
and what I love is that for this module, the people, oh, everybody got to shine, and I'm gonna say that for the next episode because uh, you have to think in ways that are beyond just combat, and that's exactly what D and
yes,
D is for me.
yeah. I think when Priscilla, our
Mia win.
Mia yes, when she played, she was just amazed. I was like, oh, it's like a puzzle, and
Yeah.
like and I'm describing things. I'm describing how dank it is and where things are, and you really have to pay attention.
Yeah, she knew exactly what to do with the mushrooms because I was just like, what? And it was great because
Yes.
if it wasn't for her, I think we would have been stuck at the mushrooms for a little bit longer.
Yeah. And not that intelligence is the most important attribute to have, but it's it's good to have an intelligent person in your party. And I don't mean like real life intelligence. I mean
Like
by the
puzzle.
numbers intelligence.
Yeah.
An intelligence modifier where it's like, oh yeah, that might actually come in handy for investigation.
Yeah, because it saved them that one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because I inadvertently talked our way out of it, Cultivation's happy. He gives us some food to give back to the mage. And thankfully, we don't have to roll a strength check to get back up.
Yeah, I was like, by the time to me as a DM, by the time you make the deal with cultivation, it's like okay, it's over, and like here's your money and here's your XP and stuff. I don't. We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, because it took us about 2 hours.
Yeah, and yeah, I was ready to go, and it's like it feels right. Let me just yeah, no need to have an extended denouement, as they say.
And then I forgot to send the letter, but I did that in the morning, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think we spent almost as much time talking to Cultivation as we did talking to the blacksmith.
Yeah, I didn't time it, but you really just wanted to know his story, and you were sympathizing with him. It's just he like you don't expect him to be a cultivation to be an empathetic character.
I didn't think he'd be so passionate about food. And it's like, all right, you just want everybody to eat greens,
Yeah,
uh, and mushrooms.
mushrooms. Yes.
So it's like great, you're giving people their protein. I can't complain.
Yeah. But yeah, this was the first part of the adventures. There are 3 other uh, adventures in this module, and I think this was a great start. You know, a little bit of everything, a little bit of combat, a little bit of puzzle solving, RP, of course, and
Yeah.
it gets all those 3 things right. And the group was very pleased.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy that we had our rogue there because we needed that sneak attack.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know what? Let me explain sneak attack for people that don't know what sneak attack is. So,
That's a rogue thing, or not technically a rogue thing, but our rogue is the one who takes most advantage of it.
yeah. Let me get the board here.
So normally when you attack,
So normally when you attack, You roll to see if you can get past an enemy's AC, and then you roll for damage. That's
Their
just fine.
AC being their armor class.
Yeah. But if a rogue surprises an opponent, and by surprise they're hidden and they, shoot a crossbow, then they get extra damage dice. That's what we call a sneak attack. In level 1 rogues, that's a 1d6, and for first level, that's actually quite a lot. Yeah. Another thing where you get sneak attack is if, and don't quote me on the rules here, if your enemy
This is how we played
has
our table.
has an enemy right next to them that you are aiming for, then you get sneak attack on that enemy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
even though that enemy may know where our rogue is,
Yes.
that rogue is still gonna roll the extra damage die.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. If they hit, of course, then you still need to get past the AC and stuff. But
Yep.
yeah, the rogue I love is just defined by that. Basically, it's just a little bit of extra damage here and there. You gotta it forces them to be a little more sly. They don't have the highest armor or the highest HP, but they got to be cunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's great for our DM always checking in with our player group is the fact that we could have went more combat heavy, or we could have went more. Yeah, we could have went more combat heavy, or we could have went to like a campaign, but we all said as a group, no, we want bite-sized chunks. So this whole which is gonna be a whole series of because it was great. We played it in about 4 parts. Uh, it really broke it down for us because just the perfect size. Num 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 num.
Yeah. And it's something you got to be aware of as a DM. How much your players are investing in the game and what can they actually give. If you could only do 2 hours a week, then overextending yourself into something larger may not help. And I want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end to all my adventures if I can.
Right. Yeah, like we don't have like 200 hours, unfortunately, in a given 6-month time frame because adulting happens.
Yeah.
But for 2 hours, this was a great little bite-sized chunk of a grander adventure.
Oh yes, yes, and it's new. They got to explore a city, and it's my first city that I had to really think about how it works. And
Yeah, let's pull that up. Let's pull up our little city.
Yeah.
So we have our castle walls here. We have our main entrances here and here, and then we have this nice little dock, which is, for me, the best part because I just love the docks for some reason at any place. I think it's a Pirates Caribbean thing.
I getcha. Yeah. And I dig that you saw that ahead of time, and like, okay, all right, there are docks here. I'm gonna talk to sailors, maybe. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, that's about it. We will continue with Mischief at the Festival during our next video, and we'll probably do all 4 parts.
Yeah.
And talk about it, and give our final thoughts about it when we're all done. So thank you very much for watching. I hope we didn't waste your time.